Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Priscilla Bravo, and I work here at the YWCA in High Point. I am the Women's Resource Center Director. And today we have Heather McGill from Guilford County Family Justice Center. She will go over all the basic information on elder abuse and how to be supportive. Good morning, Heather. Thank you for being here with us.
Yes, good morning. Thanks for having me. I am from the Guilford County Family Justice Center, and I'm the Elder Justice Coordinator here. So we do a lot of work and focus on elder justice and elder abuse. I want to talk just for a minute about the Guilford County Family Justice Center's Elder Justice Committee. We are a diverse partnership, and we focus on education, resources, and response. We meet monthly, and it's made up of individuals from several different agencies that all have a common goal to address elder abuse. All right, let's talk about what exactly elder abuse is. It's an act or lack of actions which causes harm, risk, or distress to an individual over the age of 60 years. And that age can change depending on states. Different statutes read different ages for elder abuse. But it's usually around that number. This can include physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, or financial abuse. And often when there's one type of abuse going on, there can be another one. They can be co-occurring types of abuse. This is a picture of the power and control wheel, and it's from an elder abuse take. And so it can look a lot like domestic violence relationships with using power and control. That could be, a caregiver looking after someone and refusing to take them to church, calling them names. If someone may have our memory can diminish a little as we get older. And so, telling someone that they have dementia, they can't remember things, can be a part of that control. Also, isolation is a huge one. This is because as we age, we lose the generations above us. Sometimes we can lose our spouse. And so older adults can be isolated. This is very important right now in the time of the coronavirus because we're told to stay away from others. And so we're experiencing a lot of social isolation. And older adults are experiencing this at a very high volume. They're not able to see their family members like they usually would. If they're in nursing facilities, family members are not able to come into the facility and spend time with the family. They're not able to check on them. So it's very important right now to remember that social isolation does not mean to completely cut off social contact, and remember to keep checking on those that we love. I also want to talk about who commits elder abuse. Oftentimes we think of these people, when you think of fraud and scams, you think of someone calling from across the country or across the nation that's doing this, but these can be people right here. It can be caregivers, family members, strangers, contractors, all types of people commit elder abuse. And why are people age 60 and over targeted? So fiscal resources is a huge one. We know that the most of the wealth in our country is people age 50 and over have that. And so knowing that they've spent their whole lives working and that they have money in the bank makes older adults a very large target for elder abuse. And then also it's a generation that's built on manners and trust. Years ago, a handshake saying that somebody would come and replace your roof, you didn't have to usually worry about doing a down payment. You knew that those people were going to return and actually do the work. And that's not the case these days. We see a lot of solicitors, a lot of door-to-door contractors saying that they will, take your money, they will come back and do the work, and then they never come back. Also less likely to report fraud and abuse. Older adults are be scared when something's going on, especially like we were talking about with the isolation. They may not have anyone to reach out to. So that's important to know. And then for fraud, just being worried about, if I report this, then my loved one, my son or my daughter, they're going to move me out of my home because they think I can no longer manage my finances and move me into a facility. And health limitations is a huge one too. When you don't have the physical mobility to get out and speak with someone, maybe you've started to lose verbal communication skills, that can be a big one. Okay, so these are some potential signs that someone is being abused or scammed, and just some red flags to look out for with your loved ones, with your neighbors. Isolation and withdrawal. So if someone is, no longer coming out like they used to do, if someone is if they've been meeting with a church group, once a month, every month on a certain morning, and then all of a sudden they're no longer coming, that's something to look into. Why are they no longer coming? Is it because of money? Why are they not? Is someone not letting them get out of that home? Unpaid bills or recent concerns about money. So if bills start to pack up and you've had a loved one that has always been able to pay their bills, or a neighbor that has always been able to pay their bills, and then all of a sudden their electricity is getting cut off, or they're starting to fall behind on certain things, that's a big red flag. And then anxiety or fear, just this can be one like with physical abuse. So if someone comes into the room and just seeing somebody flinch or seeing somebody fearful of being around that person, could be a red flag that something's going on. And then being very overly dependent on a caregiver, or having someone befriend an older adult and start to try to take over their finances, move into their home quickly. Receiving a high number of phone calls and mail from unknown people. This can be a red flag that there could be some potential fraud or scams going on. So if all of a sudden they're starting to get tons of mail from Publishers Clearinghouse or lottery mail, then they may have been on the phone with someone, gave out some personal information, and then a high number of scam calls to just starting to receive unknown numbers, people calling asking for personal information. Having no recollection of financial transactions. So if you know that you always have a certain amount in the bank after paying your bills, and then all of a sudden that money's not there anymore, and you don't recall taking certain funds out of the ATM or using your debit card at a grocery store for that much, then that could mean that someone is using that money. And then frequent and or poor quality of work carried out on the home. I know that locally, the contractor scams are big, and especially for older adults. So when someone comes to your home and they're asking to, hey, I noticed that you need a tree that's going to be cut down. I can cut down that tree. If you just want to go ahead and pay me $1,000, that's a discount. And then I'll be back tomorrow to cut that tree down. And then never seeing that person again. We see contractors start to do these things oftentimes when storms hit, or when there's something big that captures the media attention, just like COVID-19. You see people out trying to take advantage of others. Why don't people reach out for help? So we know elder abuse is going on, and we know that the numbers are high, but there's such a limited amount of people that reach out and make these reports. And so why don't people reach out for this? Embarrassment and shame is the number one reason. Just being embarrassed, you gave funds to a scam, that can be a big one. And then isolation, like I said, just not having anyone to reach out to, not knowing those resources of who to reach out to, of who to report it, just feeling like the problem seems so big, and you have no idea, where to even start. And then denial and doubt, just I shouldn't have done that, or it was my grandson, and he loves me, and he won't do it again. He won't take my debit card again, or he won't hit me again. He was just mad. So just being in denial about those things. And then love too. We know that relationships are hard, and when elder abuse occurs and that person that is abusing other is family, you still love them, and you can love them and not like what they do, but it can make it very difficult to reach out for help because you don't want your loved one charged with anything, and you don't want to start the chaos in the family or break the family apart. Fear can be a reason people don't reach out, and then just lack of resources, not wanting to lose your autonomy, wanting to stay in your home, being afraid that someone's going to take you out of your home. And then lastly, just hoping for change, hoping that that person that you love and you hope loves you is going to change and stop the abuse. Next, we're going to just talk about some helping strategies and just what to do if you know someone who's experiencing elder abuse, whether that's someone you go to church with, or a neighbor, or a family member. It's hard. It's hard to tell someone what's going on because the problems can be so complicated and scary. So if someone does come to you and they tell you what's been going on, just listening, taking time to pause and listen. Sometimes it can be easy to respond negatively or respond, oh, I would have never done that. That's so dumb. But really taking that time to listen to what's going on with them. And then when you do respond, it doesn't have to be a large response or anything grand, but just showing concern, saying, this must be hard. That's a lot you've been carrying. That's a lot that's going on. And recognizing that when it comes to elder abuse and when it comes to abuse in families, that relationships are very complicated, and it can be very difficult for someone to move forward and come to grips with a loved one that's been taking advantage of them, and then following up on consequences for that can be a very difficult decision. And then knowing the resources that are available, which I'm going to talk about some of those as well. These are just some phrases and some things to say, if someone does report abuse going on. So it can be as simple as, I care about you, I'm worried about you. If you notice those bills piling up, or you notice someone not coming to church that usually always comes to church, just letting them know, hey, I've noticed you've been not coming to church lately, or I noticed you're no longer coming to our breakfast group, and I'm concerned for you. Is everything okay? And you can, like I said, you can still care for someone, and you can still love someone and just not like what's happening. And just saying that sometimes, because sometimes it can be a very confusing feeling when someone's abusing you, but yet you have love for them. Acknowledging that, you can still love them and just not like how they're treating you, and to know that that's not okay. And, letting someone know that there are people and resources that are here and they are local in our community to help support them. So this is just some important contact information and some first steps that people can take. There's several different avenues when it comes to reporting elder abuse. The first one is just if someone wanted to walk into the doors of the Guilford County Family Justice Center and just to sit down and talk with someone about what's going on, we can help assist them in making those first reports or connecting them to the services that they need or exactly what they want. If you know someone is experiencing abuse and maybe you're not sure exactly what's going on, or you don't want them to know that you're reporting it, you can always call Adult Protective Services, and you can make a report, and you can make that report anonymously, and they can investigate that suspected abuse. If you do make it anonymously, you can't get updates, but you are able to do it without having to give your name. And then, of course, contacting law enforcement. When something's happening right now, that's the best thing to do is pick up the phone. If you know that someone is in danger and they're in, imminent danger, then just to pick up the phone and call 911 and make a report that you suspect that abuse is going on. Law enforcement can investigate physical abuse, sexual abuse, and financial abuse if that's what's occurring. And if they're both occurring, then that's a great step as well to start. All right. Does anyone have any questions, comments?
We do have a couple of questions, Heather. The first one is, how can you prevent elderly abuse?
Yeah, sure. I would say the best method for prevention is education and just knowing those signs, that someone could be starting to experience that. And then also the isolation one, really checking on older adults in your life and checking to see, do they have everything that they need? Especially right now, do they have groceries? Do they have those items that they need so that they're not going to be dependent on someone that they may not trust or someone that could easily take advantage of them? So I would say checking in is a big one. If you're hiring for a caregiver to come into your home, doing background checks yourself and not depending on the company to run those background checks can be good. And then if your loved one is in a nursing home, just staying connected in that way too, making sure that, that they feel safe there. So just really opening up that communication.
Do you have any resources on your website if someone wants to do a background check personally, for someone in their family? Do you have any resources like that in your website?
We do not. We do have on our website, we do have resources concerning the Elder Justice Committee and some information on elder abuse and some other trainings that we provide. I do not think we have a direct link, or we process background checks ourselves, but if someone wants to get in contact with me, and Priscilla, we can share my information, I can help get them to the right place that they need to be if they need to do background checks.
Yes, I'll go ahead and post your email on the comments so they have it and people can just email you directly when they do have questions, because I know that a lot of our loved ones are in nursing homes. And so right now with everything going on, it's kind of impossible to visit them. So we have to be aware of what's going on behind all that.
Yeah. And I also just wanted to end with, this is also World Elder Abuse Month. And so it's just, this is why we're talking about it, but I hope that the conversation, continues beyond this. We do want to get the information out there. It's an important topic, and it goes on so much, and it is so underreported.
True, very true. The other question is, what if you report the abuse and it still continues? That's an excellent question.
Yeah, and that can happen. I mean, if you feel that you have made a report and that proper steps are not being taken, I would suggest do calling the Family Justice Center or coming in, because maybe there are some other agencies that need to get involved. Sometimes we make reports to a certain agency and they can only handle certain things, and we may need to extend that to other agencies and kind of connect the dots and figure out what's missing. But I would say if you do believe that abuse is still going on, to advocate for that person. So please contact us and we can help.
And then there's another question. What is the fastest growing form of elderly abuse?
I would say it's frauds and scams. That is what we see the most of. We've reached out to the community when we've been working on trainings for our community around elder abuse, and frauds and scams is usually the #1 concern of older adults. Although we know that all other types of abuse are going on, that is the fastest growing.
Yes, the ones that I've experienced here that I've had clients come up to is on the financial side. I guess if they have access to their financial information and family members end up taking money from their bank account without the, elder person knowing. So financial would be another one. So
Yeah, and also I want to mention, because I know this didn't focus on just financial things, that we do have a program called Friends Against Fraud, and we are able to, pre-coronavirus, come out to the community. So whether that's a church or that's a nursing home, but if there are a group of people that are interested in learning more about Friends Against Fraud, or about fraud and scams and preventing fraud, then we can definitely make that happen. And whether we need to start, doing that virtually, we can do that. So please reach out to the Family Justice Center as well if you think you're interested and you have a group of people that would be interested in that.
yeah, that would be really good if they can do it virtually with everything going on. I think people would appreciate that. That sounds like it's very interesting. And I have not heard, so that's good. And there's another question. How do you handle a relative that is performing elderly abuse without causing chaos in the family?
Yeah, so it's so difficult and so challenging when it's a family member. I would say, just speaking with someone about it. So whether that is first coming into the Family Justice Center and just kind of talking through what's going on, then we can kind of come up with a plan of what's the best way to start. But I think that it's hard and it can be uncomfortable, but reporting it is the best thing to do and the safest for that family member that is experiencing abuse. And sometimes it is going to can stir up some things in family, but I think it's the right thing to do. And we are more than happy just to kind of talk through what that looks like and help coming up with something that feels good to the person reporting it.
Yes, and most importantly, to remind people that they're not alone. There is always someone out there willing to help. All you got to do is just reach out. So you're not alone. We're here to help. Heather, I will post her information on the comments area so you can email her, or you can just contact the Family Justice Center with the simple phone call. And it can be anonymous, like she mentioned before. So don't be afraid. You're not alone. We're here to help. That's what we do. We're here to help the community out. And so I just would like to thank Heather and the Family Justice Center on behalf of the YWCA for this great partnership. And just thank you for providing all this information because it's very valuable to all of us. You do have another comment from Sonia Desai. She said, "This is really informative. Thank you, Ms. McGill."
Thanks, Sonia. All right. Well, yes, if anyone wants to contact me and just talk more about it, we're always here. But thank you for listening. And I hope everyone has a wonderful afternoon.
Thanks, you too. Take care, okay?
Bye, Priscilla.
Bye.